Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cringy Movie Collection Podcast. Final episode of the year. Are you excited?
About this episode or about the fact that we are closing up the years with this?
Well,
No,
give me your thoughts.
No, not particularly excited.
Yeah.
No, I'm just here.
You're just here.
Yeah.
We did a movie called Clutch Powers. It's called Lego: The Adventures of Clutch Powers. I mean, it even has branding in the name. We'll talk about it more. Just to recap one last time this year, or maybe ever, who knows. I do feel like we don't need to introduce every time what this podcast is, because it's not like there's hundreds of new listeners who don't know.
Okay, people. There is Raf. He has a collection of movies from when he was a teenager. And then there is Ludo, who happens to be Raf's girlfriend. And I, Ludo, am gonna comment on his taste.
Shit on them is the code here. Lego Clutch Powers 2010, directed by Howard E. Baker. I looked up what Howard E. Baker has been responsible for, and it's all movies that look like this movie. Like animated, crappy-ass, straight to DVD releases. I guess Clutch Powers was actually released in cinemas.
I was so... We watched the actual Lego movie together.
Yeah.
I was not expecting anything, and after the real Lego movie,
It's called the Lego Movie. That's just, it's not the real one.
I actually was so surprised of how much I liked it. So I had actual expectations,
Yeah.
And it's a 90-minute commercial.
This movie came out 4 years before the Lego Movie, and I think some of the DVDs and some of the posters say the first Lego Movie on DVD. I mean, you can tell that the budget is different, so like, whatever, we'll talk about it. But maybe briefly I should say, I got this DVD as a Christmas present, and it was around the time that the Lego Movie was coming out. So this DVD was floating around in stores all over.
I got a second wind.
Yeah. So, and I was doing animated stop motion films with Lego. So like it was like a perfect gift, except that I'd already seen this movie and I knew that it wasn't very good. And I got this for Christmas from like my family, and I was like, oh, unfortunately, this is not very good. I had very bad, I mean, maybe that's part of me not liking Christmas all that much, is that I have very bad etiquette when it comes to behavior at Christmas. Like when I get a Christmas present I just kind of say it instead of just being like, oh, thank you, because it makes perfect sense, and they found this movie that would, at least in theory, be interesting to me, and it is. I already watched it. Like, it's not crazy. It's just not a good movie that I needed in my collection, but here it is.
But
still,
it is, and we are
years
talking
later.
to you now about this.
Yeah. Should we give a quick summary of this movie?
You should do it.
Okay. Clutch Powers is an adventurer, and he is called by some authority guy because people in a high security prison are fleeing.
In a planet far away.
Yeah, it's like on a little separate, like a little moon or planet or something. There's a prison base, like a space base, you know. And three big value targets have broken out of the prison, and so Clutch Powers is sent there with a new team of people that he doesn't really get along with all that well.
Because he works alone.
He likes to work alone. In fact, there's a whole song in the beginning of the movie about it. He goes there to investigate and inadvertently lets them escape. And then he chases them around. He goes to the first location of like one of the people, like a weird space wizard guy. He goes there, they fight,
In
he
a
captures him,
medieval way.
and the movie ends for some reason.
Yes.
Sequel bait, motherfuckers. Ugh. I mean, look, you've already made it sound like you hate this movie. So let's start with the thing you hate the most.
The script?
You hate the script.
Yes, I think it's just who wrote this movie, and was it on purpose? Every character just say one dead joke after the other.
Yes.
And
There's a
it
barrage
just
of dad
feels
jokes.
like they were really, really trying. What's the next dad joke that we could insert here?
Yeah.
And I really, because you know what, there is a scene kind of like before the title scene, the title
Yeah.
montage.
It begins in a cave with
There
a
is
rock monster.
That actually is not a bad scene. Like, it's like, oh, maybe something good is happening. Maybe there is a possibility of a good movie.
What did you like about that scene?
The baby monster
baby
coming
rock
out of the
Gets a little pacifier.
I'm like, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Like, if all the movie would be like that, it's not. Then there is the montage in which we are introduced to the Lego universe, and from then on, it's just that joke after that joke.
Yeah.
After nothing really.
But also, it's so
interesting
unmemorable that I can't name a single. Like, I should have taken notes. I can't remember any of these terrible jokes. Can you?
No, but I guess that if you go to any Reddit thread of dad jokes, you will find the entire script of this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, like so the evil wizard, he's like on top of the castle, and people keep smashing through the wall instead of using the door. And at some point, the evil wizard says, "This place is falling apart." And that's the joke, because literally the bricks from the wall are falling over. No, it's like this place is falling to pieces. It's whatever. It's stupid. You know what, though? The script, at least the first half of the script, ties into what I absolutely love about this movie, which is also part of why I really enjoyed doing stop motion animation with Lego. And it's this, because this movie is kind of like an Indiana Jones parody-ish thing.
There are many movies quote in this
Oh,
reference
yes.
in this movie.
But yeah, he says like, why did it have to be rock monsters? Like he says, rock monsters. Why did it have to be rock monsters? Like snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? But anyway, by the way, that's not a joke a child would get. What's the point of that? Just keep the adults in the room entertained? Because I don't think so.
No.
No, but there is this sense of adventure with Lego specifically, because you can universe hop. You can go from one set to the other, and it happens in the beginning of the movie. We start in the underground exploration rock cave, then we go to Lego City, then we go to kind of a space station, then we go to medieval world. But unfortunately, that's halfway through the movie, and then we stop going around places. And I think that kind of, it's like globetrotting, but on a whole different level, because you change worlds all the time. It's something that today also, like with multiverses and things like it, was like a more fashionable thing to see in movies. It's a cool idea. And you know what? I take credit for this. When I was 14, I invented Doctor Who. Because I was doing an animated show, like, not an animated show, but like a little series of little like 5-minute videos. And the idea was that the bad guy, who the good guys are chasing, he's got this machine that allows him to jump through dimensions into like different places and universes and back in time and things like that. And so that's how you would use all the different Lego sets I had. Like you have a Wild West set, and you have a castle set, and all these things, and you have little adventures, and you have like this story mechanic that's an excuse to go through all these places and have a short attention span, kind of like some comics are as well. Where it's like you change places, that's what's interesting about it. And then only later I learned that that's exactly what Doctor Who is.
Now I'm kind of interested in watching Doctor Who.
Yeah, Doctor Who is about an alien who's got a time machine, and he takes humans with him, and they go to like history, and they go to a lot of human history, but also they go to other planets and like strange other worlds.
Is it educational as well?
I think it used to be.
Okay, so I'm gonna watch the first Doctor Who's.
The first Doctor Who is like 100 years old now.
Yes.
It's difficult to get the original episodes.
Okay, I'm gonna watch an old Doctor Who.
Yeah. But that show, I watched a lot of it. I haven't lately, but that was a good show because it did exactly the kind of thing that I wanted to make. It's just, eventually I went, and I was too busy, I guess.
Well, here they get stuck in medieval times and they finish the movie in medieval times.
Yeah.
But actually, the thing that I absolutely love about this movie
Yeah.
is the horses in the medieval
Lego
times.
horses.
Yes, there are skeleton horses and regular horses with also the head set, like the medieval head set for horses.
Yeah.
And I really like the real horses. And they look very nice and cute. And also that just the beards, like the medieval beards are cool.
Okay. There are some jokes as well about it. Like, for example, like Lego specific jokes, which I think is important for a movie that has Lego in the title. For example, Yvonne Strahovski's character takes a second set of hair, and it's like a little Lego toupee, it's like the thing that you can get as a piece of Lego. And I think that's cool. It's not enough to carry the movie. It's, if we can talk about the Lego movie, which came out 4 years later, which does a whole bunch of these jokes.
But you said it's in the collection.
It is in the collection. We'll talk about it in detail. But like the point there is, it's not just that. It doesn't rely on those things carrying it. And I think this is a little one-dimensional in that respect. It always, like, whatever's going on is what's going on.
Yeah.
And often it's very flat and uninteresting.
One thing that happens in the first scene in the cave is that you see the main character sees a bunch of Lego pieces and he makes a machine to escape. And this is also a lot of what the real Lego movie
Why do you say the real Lego?
Because
It's
this
Lego
doesn't
movie.
count.
This is
people.
not the Lego movie, though. It's also
Okay.
not the fake Lego. It's Lego Clutch Powers.
Okay, because what the Lego movies does a lot is like constructing with
Yes.
Legos, and they just introduce the possibility, and then they don't use it a lot.
Well, this movie has a lot of elements that in the Lego movie, which we'll discuss another time on the podcast, are used to better effect. This also has the song that, like the other one has like Everything is Awesome, which is an important story element as well. This one has I Work Alone, which is what Clutch Powers' MO is. It does totally have a lot of these. In fact, the universe hopping is something that happens in the Lego movie as well. Like it's strange that they try basically to do the same thing, but they were so much worse. And maybe Clutch Powers existing actually helped the Lego movie be better.
Yeah, it's like that first cell phones that were just the size of your head in the 80s that nobody really used.
But you improve on it and you get a masterpiece. Yeah. Yeah.
But I have to say that after you made me notice the detail, one other thing that I really don't like about this movie is that the pieces, when they walk, they don't stick on the correct tiles.
This is actually something. There's a bigger issue with that, and it's one of the things I absolutely hate about this movie. But it's more that the first time I saw it, I absolutely hated it. Maybe today there's a different thing that I hate more, so we can talk about that in a second. But what I hated about this movie was that it was Lego branded, but as someone who was actually animating Legos, I hated that, like, none of it is Lego specific, like, except for those little few jokes that we talked about, like feet don't stick to the studs in the ground, the arms are bendy. Like, the restrictions that you have when you actually work with Lego are not there. And I was very offended by that because, like, these restrictions make my life harder. And they just went and did CGI, and now you can do anything. So what's the point of doing it Lego then?
Yeah.
I guess it's a little unfair because there is the building element. And in fact, I think there's a lot of specific sets that look like actual sets that might exist in the world. I don't know for sure. But they look pretty much like what I, in kind of the late 90s, 2000s, kind of saw in the little catalog, So, it's all right. But, what I really absolutely hate today is how much of a Lego commercial this is.
Yeah.
It feels so much like, I mean, they could, ironically, they don't do what the Lego movie does, which is show the long identification number of the set
Yeah.
on the pieces. Like they could just do that. Like here's what you can buy from this. It just feels so blatant as a product placement. I mean, why is Lego in the title? Because it's just Lego : Like you just leave it away. Say it's the Adventures of Clutch Powers, but you need to have the Lego brand to sell this shit.
This is just a 90-minute commercial.
Yeah. It really feels that way. And it takes away from from this potential, because if you like the idea of going from world to world, then if it feels like you're going from ad to ad because you're going to get... Lego also has castles. Like, it ruins the whole potential of it as being an interesting storytelling mechanic.
I know why probably does it feel more of a commercial than anything else, because there are no real characters. Like, they have no personalities. They are like, this is the character, this is like his basic traits, and just go with it.
I think Clutch Powers works. Maybe this is where we should talk about what's the point of this movie. Because I think the point is that you need to learn to work together to accomplish something, which to a 6-year-old audience is a good thing to learn. You know, like it's a little basic.
Not to me.
Yes, it's a little basic to an adult, but I feel like if you have a demographic that young, this is fine as a message. It's simple. It's obvious as well. Like, it's a little annoying. Like, when you hear that song in the beginning, you know exactly that it's going to be about working with a team and accomplishing your goal. And I talked about this in the Chicken Run episode. I actually like this kind of message, even if it's not well done here in particular. But, like, I like that. That's an important thing that we should remind ourselves.
But then if this is the message, it's not done right, because at the end of the day, Clutch Powers goes, okay, I cannot work alone, but the team is just supporting him, doing most of the stuff, instead of him being a part of a team and doing his part, and also letting other people shine. The other people in the team are just there to serve Clutch Powers.
Well, that's just like being the leader of the team. I think that's fine. Because his point is that he's relying on other people to help him. Because that's the thing that when we grow up is sometimes perceived as a weakness, to rely on others. Even if you're telling them what to do, like, that could be construed as like, no, you should be able to do this on your own, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't mind it. But again, like, as a message, it's so basic that, like, yes, that is the point of the movie, but it doesn't, even if you like that point, it doesn't make the movie good in and of itself.
Yeah, and I do think that every character, should we exclude the main character? Every other character is just a bunch of lines with a very faint idea of a personality.
But there is an element of kind of like friendship building between... Because the gruff guy, who at the beginning of the movie we were like, he's a bad guy, isn't he? Like, because he likes to explode everything.
Yeah.
He kind of warms up to the people as well. So he's, and particularly Gearhead.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, there's little elements here and there. I think as like a ragtag team of, like, you know, like kind of people that usually go on their own, I think it's fine. It's just, it's very thin.
It just felt it was way longer than it actually was.
Yes, I mean, it was boring. That's just the problem.
You're just waiting for either something to happen or for it to be over. Like,
you know, this came out in 2010. Do you also have a sense that the final act of this movie took a lot of inspiration from Lord of the Rings? It's like a big battle scene.
I don't know. Like, I haven't thought that this is reminding me of any good movies. So no.
No, but like oftentimes in a bad movie, you can tell what it's trying to knock off.
No, I was puzzled. I didn't know what they were trying to do.
I have to say, I don't remember a lot of this movie either.
Yeah, and we watched it 2 days ago, people. It's just, it's gone.
This movie is aimed at children. I think it's obvious that it is. Also, as a commercial, it's aimed at children, because then they will bug their parents to buy them stuff. Now, there is a website. It's called Common Sense Media. and it has this feature where kids can review movies, but really it's more for parents to give other parents like information
kids
like
say.
this. Yeah, like this has violence in it or whatever.
Okay.
You know, like this you shouldn't watch this with a 6-year-old, that kind of thing. But there's a weird section on his website that says what kids say. So I grabbed a few of the reviews because I think it's funny. So here is one from Kaka Roy. I mean, doesn't sound like Kaka Roy is
Age 4+.
an actual kid's name. But anyway, this kid, presumably 13 years ago, so when the movie came out, gave this movie 5 stars and said, "Rockin' movie. The main concept is work together to get stuff done. Lots of weapons being wielded. The one lady kisses the one Lego. Lots of Lego products." And then it gives you the warnings. It has too much violence, too much sex, and too much consumerism, but great messages. 5 out of 5.
Okay.
I mean, I guess when you read the thing that they wrote, you have to remember that a lot of it is about informing.
Yes.
About because it says like lots of weapons being wielded, and that's why it gets 5 stars.
I think that actually this kid has a point.
Yeah.
This movie is good because there are lots of weapons being wielded. They have very big, like their weapons compared to like the dimension of the figurines. The weapons is always like very, very big, so it looks kind of comical that they have to like.
Also, they all use the big swords because there are smaller swords, which were my favorite because they felt less stupid.
I like that they use the stupid swords.
Yeah.
Like that's the right.
I think it's the
choice.
way to go. Yeah. How do you feel about the one lady kisses the one Lego?
I didn't like the kiss scene because she never showed any interest in him before, and the German guy really was like had a massive crush on her.
Yes.
And she seemed that it was like, oh, I'm gonna make you do what I want by kissing you, and this is not.
It felt
right,
like the kind of noir. Like it felt kind of femme fatale. You know, like I kiss you to get what I want, and that's the level of transaction that we're doing here.
Yeah, and then actually it's bad because they become kind of friends and they have a nice romance after that. So that was really like icky.
What I liked is that it wasn't the main protagonist that was involved in the thing. It was a side story, which I don't know, like that movies should do that a bit more, where like if we're gonna have a love interest, don't make it another quest of your main hero.
No, that was good and that was nice. It's just the kiss scene that it's not done right. But
also it was silly. I mean, again, in a children's movie, it's kind of bad. Maybe that's why it says too much sex, even though there's no sex in this, unless a 4-year-old thinks that kissing is sex, but whatever. You know, like it's actually a bad thing to always show kids that, you know, when there's a female and a male, they should be interested in each other.
But also it's like, if a woman wants something done, she should give sexual favors to the guy that she wants it done from.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if we're going to have it, at least make it so that, like, that's just something that happens. Because this way it feels more like most of these people aren't sexually attracted to the lady.
Yeah.
Because it's not the main character. When it's the main character, it's sort of like, well, he gets to do this because he's the main character.
Yes, I was very afraid because there is like this German Lego guy that's kind of a dork, and he sees the lady and he's like so much immediately in love with her. And I was like, oh no, she's gonna go with the main character and it's gonna be the dorky one. And so I was happy that this didn't happen. Like that's a good choice.
All right, I didn't think we'd have so much to say about this this review, but here's another one.
Thank you, Kakaroy.
Here's Louis MDS.
Age 5+.
He says that it's for age 5+. Now, this is 2 stars out of 5. The first Lego movie is boring. When I first saw the trailer, I thought it will be amazing, but all I found is boring. Why, Lego, why?
And then too much violence.
It says too much violence, yes. I mean, I like that he's saying all he finds is boring, 2 stars out of 5. So there's like, what, is it because the trailer was amazing? What is the reason why it's not 1 star?
I resonate with this review.
Okay.
And it's like there is something salvageable, but everything is boring. So.
By the way, you can go on this website. I'll put a link in the description. Like you can see these reviews yourself. Let's move on to the next review. This is Anakin 007 Kid.
He
Sometimes
didn't
it says
know-
what age they are. So like this one just says kid.
He didn't know which kind of main character he wanted to be.
Yeah.
It's either a Jedi or a secret agent.
I imagine that Anakin Skywalker could be a secret agent.
He doesn't have the high ground.
They could get it. You want to read that one for us?
Really not that good. It's 1 star out of 5. This movie does have some good messages, but the characters openly talk about Legos, dumb plot and consumerism. Yes, too much consumerism.
I like that he says they openly talk about Legos, like Legos are this dark secret.
They are aware of being Legos, guys. People, they know. They crack the code. They're Legos.
They openly talk about Legos. That's definitely like when the title of the movie is Lego : like you really wouldn't expect them to openly talk about Legos. But maybe, like that's a reference to the consumers
Yes.
thing. Like they openly talk about it being toys and fair enough. But still, I think it's funny. Themerald Cat is also a kid. Recommended for ages 6+.
He really liked the movie.
5 out of 5. This movie, this movie was amazing.
He's
This is
amazing.
the best movie in the goddamn world. The acting of these bricks as they chase the villain known as Wizard Man III is goddamn amazing. 10 out of 10. And the title has great role models.
And this is fake.
I think it's a joke, but I think it's funny.
This is fake.
Look, this guy, Themerald Cat, wrote this review thinking this is going to be so funny. People are going to find it funny. And I found it funny and I put it on my podcast. Good. Well done, Themerald Cat kid. This was 3 years ago, by the way. This was 2020. Like, someone went and wrote a review for this movie that came out in 2010.
We should report.
Okay. And here's another one, CSM content default, which sounds like an error in the system. But you want to tell us what the review
This
is?
is 4 star out of 5, not to seem like a bot from the get-go. Exciting and Lego franchise everywhere. This is good and violent. And violent.
The ultimate combo, good and violent.
I loved it. Lego franchise is everywhere. Kids will love. This title has great role models, too much violence and too much consumerism. But apparently too much violence and too much consumerism are positive things for
That's
CSM
I think
content.
again, this is the weird thing with this website is that in their review they will just mention the things that might be a concern to parents, but it always makes it sound like that's part of the appeal. Like this movie is good and violent. Like these are the two things you need to know.
Yes.
I love it.
It could be good but violent. No, it's good and violent, people.
Like it's basically showing the world that good and violent don't have to be exclusive.
Yeah.
Anyway, final review
Okay.
is my favorite.
Winner 45.
It's a kid. He recommends this movie 4 up, 1 star out of 5. And he says, I just don't like Lego movies. I don't like movies like this.
I think that it's a matter of taste. He knows what he wants and he knows what he does.
This is how we review movies on our podcast. We just say the things we like, and then that's how we judge whether or not a movie is good.
And the fact that we have to ask kids to help us to have content for this episode says a lot about this movie.
This is technically probably child labor, so let's move on. Did you know that Clutch Powers is named after clutch power, which is the kind of principle by which Lego bricks stick together?
Oh. No, I didn't know about it.
Yay!
Oh, to mention something else that this movie is nice because also Lego people don't like stepping on Lego in this movie. So that's funny.
I mean, you know what? The problem with that is that I've never really had a problem stepping on Lego. Like, I just never got the
People,
bad
I
angle.
live with a psychopath.
Have you ever stepped on Lego and there was a
Yes.
problem?
Yes. Like, that's like just a circle in hell is just stepping on Legos.
I don't know. Maybe I just never stepped on
I
them
have
properly. I don't
2
know.
tiny feet, maybe.
And you slam your heels down, which is
Yes, I
something I
just
don't
really
do.
slam them on the Lego.
Yeah.
They go right in.
I don't know. Maybe for a special episode one day in a Fun and Games, we will make me walk over Legos, and then we'll see if I complain.
Like walking on fire.
Yeah, we'll make a little parkour. All right, that is the final episode of the podcast for this year. We've been doing this since April 1st. Can you believe it?
And you know what? I didn't think that any movie would make me miss Rain of Fire. But I think that this movie did.
Yeah. Hey, everybody who's listening to this, thanks so much. You can also, if you want, use the comments for feedback, especially because we've switched to this kind of bi-weekly schedule and we do stuff in between. And if you're bored by it, if you have ideas of things we should do, or you be more interested in than the stuff we're actually doing, let us know, because why not?
And once you're there, please also like and subscribe.
Mm-hmm. And then we will be back next year. The next episode of the Cringy Movie Collection Podcast will be Flight Plan, which is the movie from 2005 with Jodie Foster, Sean Bean. Good stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. So that's it. Anything stupid you want to say? Say a stupid thing before we go.
I cannot do it on command. It's just like I'm spontaneously stupid.